Hello, kindergarten families. My name is Rebecca Hawkins. I'm the reading specialist at Nass Elementary and also the district literacy coach. I've put together 3 presentations that correspond with the activities in the kindergarten packet that you can or have already picked up from your child's school. The activities in these packets just help build some academic readiness as your child gets ready to start kindergarten this fall. I would like to add a little disclaimer. I put this in all the videos. We understand wholeheartedly that children are different. Some children will be ready for these activities in the packet. Some children will be beyond these activities in the packet. They've already mastered some of those skills, and some kids just won't be ready. And all of those things are okay. I have 2 kids in the district. My daughter is in 2nd grade, and then my youngest daughter will be starting kindergarten this fall as well. My oldest daughter really wasn't interested in most of these academic activities. It just wasn't exciting for her. She wasn't quite ready yet. My youngest daughter is super ready. She's so excited to start kindergarten this fall. She will practice tracing her letters and writing her name for hours on end. So we just want to recognize that we know all children are different. It's okay if you try these activities with your child and they're just not into it. Try again in a little bit if you want. So with that disclaimer, we want you to enjoy these activities with your child, but we also understand that some kids are not ready for them, and that's okay. I'm going to give you a few seconds to read each slide, and then sometimes I'll have something to add, and sometimes we'll just move on to the next slide. So really the best thing that we can do for our kids and our youth is to read to them from an early age. It is never too late to start reading to your child. And what this does is it just builds their love of reading. It becomes an activity that they enjoy doing. Kids are only little for so long. And so as long as they're letting you read to them, it's just helping foster their love of reading. Rhymes are very important in the English language. Nursery rhymes, rhyming books, it helps build your child's ear for sound, something that we call phonemic awareness. And what that does is it allows them to hear certain sounds and how they sound similar. And then as they start learning the letters and the spelling patterns, they can recognize those sounds and spelling patterns more easily if they're able to identify and understand rhymes. So this rhyme, for example, the frog sat on a log in a bog. There are 3 words that end with that same spelling pattern. If your child has that ear for rhyme, when they're finally to a point where they're reading sentences like this, those words will come so much easier to them. They won't have to sound out each individual word. They'll maybe have to sound out the word frog, and then once they get to the word log, they'll recognize that OG spelling pattern, and that word will come just so much easier to them. Alliteration is another activity that we do with kids in kindergarten. Again, it just helps build their ear for sound. It helps them understand that they know that words have meaning, but it helps them understand that words are made up of individual sounds, and those individual sounds have meaning because they make words, and words are what have meaning. Names are a big deal in kindergarten. It's the first thing your kids learn to write. It's the first word they learn to read. And it's very personal. It has purpose for them because it belongs to them. And so when we play with letters and sounds, some of the first things we start with are names. Kids learn to write their name first. What are the letters in their name? You can make it with Play-Doh. You can do it with a whiteboard. All of these things give letters and reading purpose because their name means a lot to them. And here are just some more activities that you can do to have fun with letters and sounds. Again, all children are different. Some kids might already know all of their letters, and so these activities won't be as meaningful for them. Some kids might not have any interest in it, and that's okay. One thing that my oldest daughter, who really wasn't super interested in the academic piece, was she did love Play-Doh. And the one thing that I was able to get her to do was practice building her name with all of the Play-Doh letters. And she loved that. She loved doing that. And so when she started kindergarten, she knew the letters in her name, didn't know many of the other letters, but she did know the letters in her name. Again, just reinforcing that names have meaning and they really enjoy that because it's connected to them. The ABC song never gets too old. It helps them, they understand the order of the alphabet, and so then when they're looking at the letters, it helps them recognize it more easily because they have kind of that song in their head and they can sing that song as they're following along. And in just a minute, I'll pull up my document camera and show you just an activity, super easy, that you can do with some of the materials that were given to you in your packet. This presentation, the actual slideshow, will be available on the website also, so these links you'll be able to click on. Starfall has just some links for the ABC song and some interactive ABC activities. You can download it as an app on your phone or you can access it just through a computer. We spend a lot of time in kindergarten teaching children what are called sight words. They're called sight words because they need to know them on sight. They are also called high frequency words. Sometimes you might hear them called irregular words because a lot of them are not, you can't sound them out. And these are some of the sight words that your child will learn in kindergarten. These are the most common. And in your packet, there is a page of sight word flashcards that they'll be able to cut out and do some activities with. These are just some more activities that you can do with sight words. I will show you those here in just a few seconds on the document camera. The one thing that is kind of fun, and I actually did this with my students that I work with in reading, is using books or magazines or newspapers, and when we're trying to get those sight words kind of imprinted in their brain, writing the word down on a Post-it note and then having them go and look for those words in newspapers and magazines. And it was just a fun, different activity that they enjoyed doing. And then here again is another page of parent resources. This slideshow will be available as a slideshow, so you'll actually be able to click on these resources. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my document camera and go through some of the activities that are in the parent packet that you have or can pick up. So one of the first things that you'll see in the parent packet are the sight words. You'll get a page of sight words just like this. You can cut them out and use them as flashcards. You can also request a copy from the school if you haven't picked up the packet already. And then you have a matching set. And there are lots of things you can do with a matching set of sight words. One thing that when my oldest daughter was in kindergarten, the way that we were able to practice her sight words rather than just flashcards is we played Go Fish and we played the memory game with them. So it was fun and exciting for her because she was playing a game. So you can cut them out. And then for the memory game, what you do is you just flip them over. You'd have to have a double set. So you'd have to have 2 of the word and, 2 of the word I, 2 of the word can, just 2 of everything so that you can actually play memory and help your child get a match. And you flip them all over, and then you just take turns flipping over and trying to get a match and reading the words as they flip them over. Can. A. Oh, that's not a match. I got to flip those back over and try again. So that's a fun game that you can play with the sight words. The other game that you can play is Go Fish. You can use 3 sets of the cards or just 2 sets. I would use 2 sets with my oldest daughter. We would all have our set of cards here, and then I would ask her, do you have the word dad? And she would say, Go Fish, or she'd have to then go and find the word dad and look for it, read it, and then give it to me if she had it. So lots of ways to just reinforce reading those sight words, getting to know them, and memorizing them. The other thing, and this is kind of the last activity I have for the sight words, is the sight words that are given to you, you can create sentences with. So there are lots of words. So one of the sentences, my daughter would sometimes enjoy doing this, sometimes she wouldn't. I love my dad. And then we'd have to go find all of those words, and then she'd have to put them in order. But then she's reading a sentence. I love my dad. And so that's another way just to help reinforce those sight words and that they are important and they have meaning. You can create sentences with them. You can play games with them. They can be fun. Okay, the next activity we have in the packet is this word matching activity. It comes with directions, and it comes with a piece of paper. Some of them are cardstock, some of them are not, and then just this little strip here. And the way this activity works is you ask your child to draw a picture. They can draw anything, or you could draw a picture. That was another thing that my oldest daughter really didn't enjoy doing much, is she didn't enjoy drawing so much. So I would ask her, what would you like me to draw? And she would say something probably like a unicorn, because she loved unicorns at the time. So then I would draw a unicorn. And then I would ask her to say something about it. And then I will write it down in 2 places. And the reason this is called a word matching activity is they'll write just a short sentence. You will write just a short sentence, an adult. And then they'll match up those words. That just helps them visually see that the word like is the word like always, and this is how it's spelled always. This is what it looks like. So I love pink unicorns. So written down here on this little strip of paper, and then I'm going to pull that strip of paper off. I'm going to unfold this, and I'm going to write the same exact sentence here. I love pink unicorns. So now she's got her unicorn, she's got her sentence, and then we're going to come and we're going to cut this sentence up. Scramble the words, and she already knows this sentence. You know, we've read it together. She was the one that came up with it. So now she gets to go and find these words, and this just kind of helps solidify the words have meaning, and the written words mean something. So, oh, this is the word I. Oh, I found it. It's right there. This is the word I love pink unicorns. Oh, this is the word love. And it just helps them recognize words. So just a fun little activity you can do. But again, you know, if your child's not ready for that activity, totally fine. And the last thing that's available or in your chart isn't necessarily an activity, but it's just an alphabet chart. My oldest daughter really didn't have any interest in all of this stuff. And my youngest daughter, she has a little alphabet puzzle, and she'll take all the puzzle pieces out, and then she'll sing the ABCs to get them back in the right order. So it really depends on your child. Again, you know your child best. If this will be enjoyable for them, go for it. So this is just an alphabet chart in order. You can sing the alphabet and point to the letters, and then that just helps them kind of visualize the song in their head with the actual written letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that will help them begin to recognize that that song they're singing about the alphabet actually has a written corresponding letter, and this is what the letter looks like. Some other things, it also has the American Sign Language letter and the shapes that, or the American Sign Language that you can make. And then it also has an animal or an object that starts with that sound to help give your child the understanding that letters make sounds, sounds make words, words make meaning. And those are all of the reading activities that are in the kindergarten packet. And again, just one more time, this presentation will be available in its slideshow format so that you'll then be able to go and click on some of these online parent resources. And if you have any questions, feel free to email. If I don't have the answer, I can put you in contact with the person who will have the answer. So I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope you enjoy this time with your child before they start kindergarten this fall. And again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions.